Hi guys, welcome to another episode. I think the third episode of our podcast. I'm Sofia, and with me there is my partner in crime, flatmate, older sister, and a lot of things, Maria.
Hello.
So today we want to talk about the film The Trial of the Chicago 7. The film, available on Netflix, is an historical legal drama and was written and directed by Aaron Sorkin.
For those of you that don't know, Aaron Sorkin is the scriptwriter for the film The Social Network. I don't know if you remember that film about Facebook. And he is a director, scriptwriter, and he also worked in the theater. So
he made a lot of things.
Yeah.
And the film earned 6 nominations at the 93rd Academy Awards, including Best Picture. So, to tell you something about the plot, the film relieves one of the most well-known trials in the U.S. recent history that took place in 1969, and it became an icon of American pacifist movements. But to understand better the film is important to know the social, cultural, and political context in which U.S. found. So in Vietnam, the war was going on for 10 years, and a ton of young people died day by day. The 1st of April 1968, Martin Luther King was killed, and approximately 2 months later, also Robert Kennedy left in the same way. So in that years, the student movements were achieving their maximum influence all over the world, and in US were the years of hippies, pacifism, and anti-racism. So now I want to ask to Maria if she can speak about the first part of the film, the technical part, because this part permits to understand better the context.
Yes, talking about the introduction to the film, I think it was very cleverly done. It's very fast-paced, it's very quick, and I think it's a perfect summary of what was happening at the time, which helps the viewers understand the context, the political and social context in which the trial took place. In general, I would say this film, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's not boring at all. Like, actually, I thought it was maybe an hour and a half, something like that, because it was very entertaining to watch. And this is probably because of the characters and the story itself, and about a period in time in the United States that I personally didn't know much about. So, yeah, I think the context of the film, it's very interesting, and the way they edited the intro was very well done, and in general the whole
film. To understand better the context,
exactly.
Full of events, full of things.
If you don't know what happened, which a lot of people don't know everything that happened at that time. So,
and in that context, in August 1968, during the Democratic Convention to choose the candidate of the election, more or less 10,000 people arrived in Chicago to protest against the war in Vietnam. Obviously the manifestation was full of not obviously, but in that case the manifestation was full of collision between demonstrators and police. And during these collisions, policemen used violence and brutality to repress the protest. But the Justice Department of the outgoing Democratic President Johnson decided to accuse no one for what happened. But after the election of the Republican President Richard Nixon, 8 people were accused of conspiracy for the Chicago protest organization. The defendants were leaders of student movement, hippie movement, and Pacific movement. but also the Black Panthers leader without a clear reason, actually. But
Exactly.
you will understand better watching the film. And the trial lasts more or less 5 months. And the film recalls in a quite accurate way what happened during that time. In fact, the film is very close to the reality, and it permits viewer to relive the event. So that, I think, it's a very a positive aspect of the film, at least in my point of view. And I don't know, how do you think about the film? How you feel watching the film?
The plot was very interesting because it talks about also like the justice system in the United States at that time and the concept of justice, and also about a subject that we still are talking about a lot, which is police brutality. I think it's something that it's being talked about globally.
Yes,
it's
still
a
today.
problem.
Yeah, it's still a problem in US. As we know, the case of the black guy for the
George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd, and then the protest of the Black Lives
Matter. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, like, it talks a lot about racism because the way that the judge interacts with one of the guys that was accused is one of the leader of the Black Panthers. The way that he interacts with him shows the racism at that time, and that's still there is a lot of it today, unluckily. And so the story was very, very interesting because it also talks about things that are happening now. Maybe not the Vietnam War, but we still have a lot of the same problems.
And for me, it was awful that even if everyone was able to see racism behavior, no one
would call it out. Exactly. That was very hard to watch. And about the more technical part, it is a choral film. For those of you that don't know what a choral film is, it means that there's multiple main characters, not just one. And I really like the elements of comedy because I wasn't expecting them whilst talking about such a hard and dark incident. Because of the seriousness of the topic, with that comedy, it helped relieve some tension. I think, especially from one of the characters. He was a very funny guy, so I think that helped to watch it and to.
I think you are talking about Sacha Baron Cohen.
The character played by him.
I think is candidate for the Oscar.
Yeah, I think he did a very good job. Usually he does a very good job. And what else? So yes, the editing was very good. I really liked not only in the intro because with the music and everything, but also while things were happening outside of the court, outside of trial, they would mix the images, for example, of the riots from that time in black and white with the fiction. So I think they mix it in a way, they edit it in a way that it works. It's very fast-paced. I don't know. I really enjoyed that part. And what else do I have to say? I have many good things to say. But yeah, I think more or less that's about it for now. The thing that I liked the best was the characters and the story itself, because I think that those are the center points of the film.
Yeah, same. Also, me in this case, I appreciate more the skills of the actor than the use of camera. Even if the
actor direction was very good.
And another positive aspect is the cohesion with the real story, because the film is very close to the reality. And in the end, even if as you told, the film it lasts long and it talks only about the trial, the piece of the scenes doesn't make you feel bored. So that's very good. And
It's nominated for best editing, I think.
Also for best editing, also for best cinematography, and for
it was very
sound.
Natural, very well done. In general, I would say that it deserves the nominations.
So in the end, I really we really want to recommend you this film.
Yeah.
During it, you can feel a sense of injustice.
Yeah.
At least I felt a
I
sense
think
of
we all did,
injustice.
yes.
Even if sometimes I laugh because there were comedy part, as Maria said. And also this
It makes you want to cry at sometimes. I felt like crying, honestly.
Because the injustice was so strong.
And you could see it clearly, and it hurts to see that even if it was so clear at the time, no one was really doing anything. So yeah, well, you will see the whole film and you will see how it turns out. But yes, I really recommend it.
And also for me to discover a dark episode of the American story that maybe in other place people don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like us. We didn't know nothing about before the film. So for this episode, it's everything. Go on Netflix to watch the trial of the Chicago 7 and let us know.
Yeah, let us know if you like it.
And stay tuned for the next episode.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thanks.